everyone. Today we are going to talk about the concept of palpating for continuity, and this morning's exercise is that we are going to be palpating as though our feet were our hands. So you can see below me I have sand with some shells, so it's got a soft sort of silky consistency with some hard bits in it, and that's the tone of this particular area. And we're going to start moving from, so let's say we're on the posterior system, we're going to start moving from inferior to superior in the same way that the energy moves through the body. And we're just going to start, and it's similar. And I'm starting to notice there's a little bit more hard shell material, but you know, it's similar. And then I come up in here and it's all shell, right? So here we have a disconnect, right? Where it really goes from being mostly sand. And then I would say, actually, no coincidence, that right here where I see the bubbles from the water line, this would be kind of the line where it shifts and changes. Because here we're going into total shelliness. So along this line is where we're going to find our points of origin, right? Bilaterally, we're just going to walk our hands out. We may have to turn the person over, but that's where we're going to find our points of origin. And we're going to establish continuity. And in establishing continuity, what we're going to do is we're going to create a more continuous tone through that sand with some shells and the shells with some sand. So we're going to create a blend that is more even and has a consistent tone. All right, and then we're going to be walking up here, palpating tension, 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 tension. And then, I don't know if you can see it, but right here the shells are really small, and here is water. So that's also going to be another disconnect. So I'm going to go right along the wet line here, and that's going to be my line across where I'm going to find my points of origin. And in this case, what we would probably be looking to do, and I just want to show you, here you can see that water's moving. And this actually would be a good example of an active disconnect, because there is movement happening. There is building happening as we are here. And as the person is lying on the table, this is only going to get more. This watery area is going to start building, because as you can see, there is water coming in and filling that up. So in some ways, this is a perfect example of a dormant disconnect. So here it's almost like we're going from an area of kind of low tension. We've got low tension, and then it's kind of getting higher and higher, but it's more of a volume change than really dramatic. And then when we get here, it's another disconnect. So we're going from like a low tone to a much higher tone. And then when we come to the water, we're actually looking at an active disconnect here. We're looking at this difference is building. We're seeing this active change happening while the person's on the table. And it's growing. There's more and more and more water flowing into this. And at some point, it's going to start, this container is not going to be enough. So we're going to get overflow. And that overflow is either going to help us to establish continuity, or it's just going to keep building and building tension. So in this case, we have a dormant disconnect where it goes from sand to shells, a dormant disconnect where the shells come and gets really shelly and hard, and then we move into the active disconnect where we have this water building, 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 and shifting. Good morning, everybody. I'm out on my walk and I'm thinking of all of you. And I wanted to give you an example of establishing continuity, looking for disconnects, using the sky as our system today. So see, I have blue, 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 blue sky. And then all of a sudden I get into some clouds, but they still feel like a light blue sky. There's a lightness. And then all of a sudden when I come here, let's see, how can I get there? This line right here, right? That's going to be my disconnect. And then I would keep palpating through that deep gray tension. And then when I get down here, right, just right along here, I'm going to have another disconnect. And here's what I can tell you, is that the first one, this one, it feels like it's going from a low tension to a high tension, and that it's building. Like that cloud stuff, that gray cloud stuff, that's building in intensity as I'm standing here. So that would be an active disconnect. And then when I get down here, I'm going to have another disconnect, and it's dormant because it's not building. It's totally stable, right? It just is how it is. So my goal is going to be, if this were a living, breathing human system, I would want to create some ease through that system that is going to bring a little bit of that sort of hard grounding up to the sky and a little bit of the sky down. And it's kind of like we're going to make a big smoothie out of everything, because we want it all to be the same consistency rather than three separate consistencies. So this is looking for disconnects using nature as our system rather than the human body. And we have an active disconnect here and a dormant disconnect where the gray sky meets that land. All right, and then we would just go through, if we have a dormant disconnect and an active disconnect, which one are we going to do first? The dormant. Because sometimes when we address that dormant disconnect, the active disconnect will actually dissipate on its own. Releasing that stored tension or that block is going to create enough momentum to actually clear through that active disconnect. All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. We are back to the concept of disconnects, and this morning we're going to use the sky as our example, and hopefully my camera will straighten out here. Okay, so I'm doing a scan across the sky here, and we've got tension, 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 building a little bit, and then all of a sudden, obviously right here along this line, zoop, that would be our disconnect. And as you can see, this system here is kind of building and getting more and more intense. And then if I just keep going all the way, my observation is going to take me such that I'm going to deduce that this is the one disconnect in the system here. So this is where I'm going to start. It is an active disconnect, but I'm going to address it the same way I do as any other disconnect. So I'm going to find the points of origin, which in this case would be like somewhere down in the bottom left and the top right corners. And yes, it's true that generally in the system we're going to have a disconnect that is more like this. It's going to go unilateral, it's going to be bilateral, but it's going to cut across evenly. This isn't cutting across evenly, but it's such a pretty example, I didn't want to miss it with you. So, and then I'm going to have the person take some deep breaths with my hands on the points of origin. I'm going to assess the type of distortion that is being created from this disconnect, or that this disconnect is creating. So is there compression? Is there rotation? Is there counter rotation? And I want to know that, because if I'm going to use a long lever or a short lever to change that disconnect, to establish continuity, then I want to know exactly what's going on under that disconnect so that I can be most specific in terms of how to address it. So wishing you all a beautiful Sunday morning. Good morning, everyone. We're going to do a demo on what it might feel like when we're feeling for disconnects. So let's pretend my feet are my hands, and I've got the quality of this material under my feet. So it's kind of soft. It's got a little bit of hard matter in it. Then I come here and it changes. It's got big shells and this fluffy stuff. So between the straight sand and this stuff, I would say it's a disconnect. And then I come here and it's all shells and it's hard and it's crackly. Very different from when I was on the sand. Okay, so I've got another disconnect. And then here, look at this. This is going to be my line of origin. Oh, well, there we go. We've got water too. This is my line of origin, where it's going to represent the change line between the shells and the seaweed. So then I'm coming here and we're going, okay, we've got this going on. It's very mushy. Okay, I'm in the water. Oh, all right. I swear to God, I wasn't doing this on purpose. I'm going to lose both my shoes. Okay, great. We're going to have this on film. And now I'm coming back up here, and we've got a completely different tone or tension under my very wet feet. This was not what I was planning on doing for my demo, because this was actually very unfortunate for the rest of my walk. So, at the risk of my hypothermia, I have just given you a demo of what it would be like if we were palpating with our feet for disconnects.